loves mambo.
So anyway, there's a lot of things to notice other than Obama being a Marxist. Walks like a Marxist, talks like a Marxist, has policies like a Marxist. It is a Marxist. He surrounded himself by people who are open Marxists. I can name 5 of them. They're proud Marxists. Some of them are proud Maoists. You have a communist regime. Now, if you wanted that, good. I don't think he ran on the Communist Party ticket. I think he ran as a centrist. But fundamentally, you have a guy who wants to take from those who produce and give it to those who don't. I mean, we go back to the Bolshevik Revolution. And the Bolshevik Revolution was run not by black people, not by Hispanic people, not by Asian people, but by white, spoiled brats from the middle class and upper middle class of Russia who were guilty white liberals, who were embarrassed because of the Tsar, and they stirred up the entire Russian nation to kill the Romanovs. And then came 100 million deaths in the last century as a result of this desire for fairness. When it was finally over, 100 million people were dead as a result of the desire for fairness. But if you look at the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917 in Russia, you have to go back to the French Revolution to understand where the Bolshevik Revolution came from. I have studied revolutions, so don't think I'm a novice with this. Obama is a revolutionary. He's surrounded by revolutionaries, and at the end of the day, it's not going to be a very pleasant picture in this country. That's what I think. But I've made my point. Yes, the latest Rasmussen poll says his approval ratings have fallen to a new low of 47%, and that's because he has absolutely mishandled the health care debate by bashing people at these town hall meetings as Nazi, fascist, this and that, calling protesters evil, as Harry Reid did. It's backfiring on this administration. They made a big mistake here. Even liberals are starting to say Pelosi should go. So don't think that I'm making this up. But you've heard all of this before. I'd rather talk about the swine flu. People are dying from it. Do you know that? It's getting out of control. Now, before we talk about the swine flu, like I went today to have a blood test. You know, you get the periodic, the lipids, and this, that, the PSA to see if your schmendrick is still hanging. And I said to the lady pulling my blood, the young vampire, I said, how are you? Not good. Lost a relative to the swine flu. I said, what? Yeah, he was healthy. Went to this, went to that, and he dead quickly. It's frightening. It's like in 1918, man. Like, here comes the worldwide swine flu. Now, you got to remember that flu used to have country of origin, like Asian flu when I was a kid. Like, we walk around and go, oh, look, the Asian flu's coming. And no one thought twice about it. I still went to the Chinese restaurant and poisoned my system with those bad chips that they had on the table that killed half the Jews in Flushing. They had on the table. Remember the Chinese restaurants and how unhealthy the food was? They had those greasy, horrendous, like bad, and the people ate them like it was like pork rinds. I don't know what they were made of. Ate them like crazy. Half the Italians and Jews in Queens prematurely died as a result of those chips. No one thought twice when there was Asian flu around there. They weren't going to get it in a Chinese restaurant, but they knew it started in China because China had bad hygiene. Lots of people, mud, biology textbooks, worms in the toes, crawled in. It had nothing to do with the flu, but you expected the flu to come from a country like that. The teeming masses, bad hygiene. You know what I'm saying? No toilet paper, no toothbrushes at that time now. So you got to understand that this is the Mexican flu. They named it H1N1 to confuse you. It started in Mexico. As a matter of fact, I went on the air and said, close the borders, put National Guard's troop on the borders, stop the people from coming in from Mexico, don't let anyone go there. I was attacked by Janet Napolitano. I was called every name under the sun. Obama went on the air and said, oh, yeah, well, it's like talking about closing the border after the horses got out. And I'm saying, what are you talking about? There's not only one horse with the flu. I mean, the analogy didn't even work. And that's because I'm trained in epidemiology. I could have stopped the epidemic or limited it. Could have stopped it or limited it. But you didn't listen to me. You know, don't assume that I don't know what I'm talking about just because you don't like my politics. It could be that you don't like my politics because I do know what I'm talking about, and it offends you for that reason. Anyway, whatever. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I'm going to take some calls, okay? Winfred is an angry caller from New York on WOR. I have no idea what he's mad about, but he's getting the air. Winfred, go ahead. It's your floor.
You better believe it, buddy. You guys are mad because Obama is doing a good job, and I'm going to tell you something. The whole world's looking at you.
Well, let's take one sentence at a time. He's doing a good job?
He's going to win again. He's going to win again.
Winfred, if you want to have a discussion, we can take each statement and discuss it. You're saying Obama's doing a good job with what, the economy?
Yes, he is. And let me tell
Okay,
you
so,
something.
oh, wait. Is he doing a good job with creating jobs?
Why you don't talk about the gays and protest that? Why you don't talk
Winfred,
about...
wait, you got on the air. I gave you some time, and you said Obama's doing a good job. I'm trying to find out where he's doing a good job. So where? Did he create jobs? We don't know where they are.
Okay. So you don't want to talk about those type of things.
I just asked you, what is he doing that's good?
He is the president, you bum! So get off my phone!
Excuse me? Sir, what are you on? What drug did the government give you? What? I don't understand this. Let's see. The date is August 13th. Oh, it's the middle of the month. And by now, they've already sold off their prescriptions already. The meds are gone. They take a few the first few weeks when the social worker comes. They make them take them in front of them. Then the social worker doesn't want. And by the 13th, they're selling them on the street. Thanks, Winfred. I appreciate it. They're already sold in the gutter. What's now? I want to talk about the H1N1 flu and how it could have been prevented, but that's water under the bridge. The government failed you there. Now the government's going to fail you when it starts to really take over, which it has already. It has. Now, I'm going to give you something you're not going to like to hear. I'm going to tell you right now, one of your biggest risk factors is being around young children. All right, you don't like it? What are you going to do, protest me? Protest now. I had children. Every time they went to school in the flu season, they brought something home. It's just the nature of the beast. Children incubate, carry, and they bring it home. And then the parents pick it up, then they bring it to the office. So what are you going to do? You're going to stop living? You have to take certain precautions with your children. You're not going to say crazy? Okay, when they get to the door of the apartment or the house, make them take their shoes off. The minute they come in, you want to laugh at me? Make them wash their hands with hot water and a lot of soap. You know, common hygiene does help in these issues to a certain extent. There's no guarantee it's going to eliminate the risk factor of the disease, the virus having been brought into your house. But my friends, viruses are very susceptible to certain very basic hygienic practices. Unfortunately, they're not practiced in America to the extent they were when I grew up. My mother was a fanatic. You know, remember we used to say cleanliness is next to godliness, and then the hippies came along and they said filth is the closest thing to the devil, and they wanted to become the dirtier the better. They wouldn't even wipe their butts. You remember those days of the 60s? Everything was natural. They didn't brush their teeth. They're toothless now.